Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to you guys know that moment when you realize that you're never going to be the person you were before someone shattered you. Like when you're standing in the grocery store and your heart is racing because someone made small talk and you can't tell if they're being genuine or if this is the beginning of another nightmare. If you've been through narcissistic abuse, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Today, I just want to jump into the question I get asked and that I've seen floating around a little bit here. How do I ever trust anyone again when someone I trusted completely used my love as a weapon against me? Okay. So, yeah, this one's going to be a real episode, bitches. Okay. We're going to walk through the actual tangible steps to rebuild trust, starting with yourself. And listen, welcome to the Listen Bitch podcast. Okay. This is where I just get real about the messy, complicated, neurospicy journey of becoming who God created you to be. I'm your host, Brandon Lynette, in case you're new here, and I'm happy to be here, whether you're listening while you're folding laundry, driving to work, or hiding in your car for 5 minutes of peace. This is your space to feel seen and to be understood and to be reminded that you're not alone in this. Okay. I talk about faith and trauma, relationships, mental health, self-care, self-love, potential, all the things that nobody wants to talk about out loud, but everybody's thinking, everybody's Googling, everybody's searching. So whatever you have to get, if you need coffee, if you need tea or water, whatever that is, just get comfortable and let's get started. This is trust after trauma when your heart has been shattered into a million pieces. Okay. Um, I know a lot of people that are living through that story of, life after heartbreak from an abusive relationship. Okay. You're just trying to figure out how to trust anyone ever again. And if that's you, I just want you to know that you're not alone in this, like not even a little bit. It also doesn't make you special, and you're gonna see why. This is what nobody tells you really about narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships. They don't just break your heart, it rewires your entire nervous system. Okay. It changes the way that you process trust. It changes the way that you read people's intentions and the way that you even see yourself. And if you're neurospicy like myself and a lot of my listeners, okay, we need the titles for that? You don't need me to list that. But any combination of brain differences, the damage cuts even deeper because we already struggle with trusting our own perception of reality. Okay. I'll paint you a picture of kind of what this looks like in real life. You're at the grocery store, someone makes a casual small talk in the checkout line. It's like a normal interaction, right? But like your body goes into full alert mode. Like you're under attack and there's a huge bear about to bite your face off. Your heart rate spikes. You are analyzing every facial micro expression, every word choice, trying to detect the hidden manipulation that you've been trained to expect. You get home and you're absolutely exhausted, not from shopping, but from the constant hypervigilance your trauma has programmed into you, you know? And maybe it's dating. Like someone shows interest in you and they seem kind and they seem genuine and they seem attentive, everything you thought you wanted. But instead of feeling excited, you feel terror because the last person who seemed kind and genuine and attentive systematically destroyed your sense of self over a long period of time. They love bombed you, then they devalued you, and then they discarded you like you were nothing. And the worst part, you didn't see it coming until you were already trapped in the cycle. You are not the same person anymore. And if you've been through this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The person you were before the abuse, she's gone. And that loss is its own kind of grief that nobody really talks about. You find yourself saying things like, I'll never be the same again. And I wasn't born with this. Years of trauma and abuse broke me so badly. And you know what? Like, that is real. That is valid. And that shit hurts like hell. I don't want you ignoring that. This is where it gets really complicated, especially neurospicy brain. We have something called rejection sensitive dysphoria. We feel rejection and criticism at a level that's almost physical pain. We are also prone to something called masking, okay? And this is where we work overtime to read social cues and to adapt ourselves to fit what others expect. And these traits make us both like more vulnerable to narcissistic predators and also more devastated by the abuse when it happens. The narcissist sees your empathy, your tendency to give people the benefit of the doubt, your deep desire to be understood and accepted, and then they weaponize it. They studied you like a textbook, and then they used your own beautiful qualities against you. Your capacity for deep connection became the very thing that trapped you. And now you're looking at those same qualities in yourself, and you're just wondering if, being open hearted is just you being naive. So, the question that I want to answer tonight is how do you trust anyone again? Like, how do you let people in when the last person you let in used your vulnerabilities as a roadmap for destruction? That's the question we're sitting with today. I'm not going to lie to you and say I have all the answers, bitch. Come on. But I do have some things that have helped me, and it's helped a lot of women that I've walked through this with. I just want to share them with you. Okay? Like, we're going to figure it out together. So the first thing I need you to get really honest about is that you are not actually trying to learn how to trust other people again. Not yet. What you are really trying to do is to learn how to trust yourself again. Because the most insidious thing about narcissistic abuse is that it makes you doubt your own judgment, your own intuition, your own perception of reality. They gaslit you so fucking hard that now you second guess everything. You saw the red flags, didn't you? Like, looking back, bitch, I know you can see them as clear as day. But in the moment, they confused you. They convinced you that you were being too sensitive or too demanding or too broken to see their love for what it was. And like, your nervous system learned that trusting your gut leads to pain. So now your gut sends you alarm signals about everything and everyone, or worse, it's gone completely silent because you've ignored it for so long that you can't hear it anymore. And that's where the devil wants you to stay. That's where he does his best work, because he's going to whisper lies like you can't trust anyone. You'll always choose wrong. You're too broken to have healthy relationships. This is just who you are now. But here's what I want you to understand. Jesus didn't call you to live in a prison of fear. Okay? I read the Bible every day, and the thing I read the most is do not be afraid, fear not. He paid too high a price for your freedom, for you to spend the rest of your life locked in a cage of someone else's making. And that doesn't mean that you have to trust everyone. It doesn't mean that you have to let people in before they've earned it, but it does mean that healing is possible and that you're not meant to do life completely alone. And moving forward, this isn't about making yourself vulnerable again in the same way that you did before. It is about learning how to be wisely discerning. That foundation of Jesus is key. There's a massive difference between being open-hearted and being a doormat. There's a difference between giving people grace and ignoring red flags because you're afraid of being judgmental. And this isn't theory. I'm going to give you some actual steps that you can do today, tomorrow, this week, because I feel like at this point, the next right thing is for you to have something tangible, something that you can hold on to when the lies start circling your head at 2 a.m. Okay? Step one is start building trust with yourself through small promises that you're going to keep. And I mean small. Like, tell yourself you'll drink water before noon and then do it. Say you're going to take a 10-minute walk and follow through. Promise yourself that, you'll spend 5 minutes journaling and keep the promise. Your brain needs evidence that you can trust your own word. Every single small commitment that you keep to yourself is a deposit in your self-trust bank account. Okay? And I know it kind of sounds too simple, right? But here's what happens. The devil wants you to think that healing has to be this massive, overwhelming thing that you will never accomplish. So it looks really big. And when you start really small, when you prove to yourself day after day that you can keep a promise, you're rewiring the neural pathways that trauma damaged. Okay? You're teaching your brain that you are reliable, that you can trust yourself, and the blocks are going to show up. They're going to show up. That's what happens. You're going to forget. You'll have a day where you're so exhausted that you don't keep the small promise. And immediately, you know what that voice is going to say? See, you can't even do the simple fucking thing. You're hopeless. I need you to not believe it because that is not your voice. That's not God's voice. God's voice says, okay, today was hard. Tomorrow we try again. One missed day doesn't undo all the work you've done. So get back up and keep going. The second thing I want you to do is to practice tuning back into your body. Trauma lives in your body, not just your mind. When you're around someone, you have to pause and notice, like, do your shoulders tense up? Does your stomach clench? Do you feel like you need to perform or prove something? Your body's giving you information. You don't have to act on it immediately, but start collecting the data. Okay, write it down, track the patterns. Like, say you're having coffee with a friend and halfway through the conversation you notice that your jaw is clenched super tight. Don't dismiss that. When you get home, I want you to write it down. Tuesday, coffee with Sarah, felt tense around 20 minutes in when she asked about my dating life. Do this for a few weeks and patterns are going to start to emerge. Maybe you'll notice that certain types of questions make you tense. Maybe you'll see that specific people consistently make your body feel some kind of way, like unsafe. Or maybe you'll discover that your body reacts the same way to safe people as it does to unsafe people. And then you need to learn the difference. Your brain's going to tell you that you're being ridiculous, that you're overthinking, that you're making something out of nothing. And the devil's going to just be like, ooh, you're just paranoid. You know, you're going to push everybody away. But I want you to learn to listen to your body again. It's not a form of paranoia. It's just wisdom. It's reclaiming the intuition that was mentally and emotionally beaten out of you. And then, okay, your next step is really learn the difference between anxiety and intuition. And this is huge, especially for my neurospicy people. Anxiety is usually loud. It is chaotic. It everything's a catastrophe and it's very unspecific. It says everything is dangerous. Everyone will hurt you. You can't trust anyone ever. Intuition, you guys, from what I know to be true, is quiet. It is specific. It is calm. And it just says something is off about the way this person responded when you set that boundary last week, right? Anxiety is that tornado energy. My coaching clients hear that word all the time. It's tornado energy, okay? Intuition feels like a gentle but firm kind of tap on the shoulder. Anxiety makes your whole body panic. Intuition makes one specific thing stand out. So I want you to start paying attention to which is which. And when you feel that fear rising, you have to pause and ask yourself, is this a general panic about all people everywhere? Or is this a specific concern about this specific person based on something they actually did? Because the devil's going to blur the lines. He wants your anxiety to drown out your intuition completely. He wants you so overwhelmed by fear that you can't hear the still small voice of the Holy Spirit that's trying to guide you. That's going to be the biggest block. So when you feel the fear, take a breath, pray, and ask God to help you distinguish between the trauma response and the genuine warning. You guys are not going to be able to do this without him. I don't see a possible way of healing without that foundation. Okay. Step 4, please slow way down with new people. I mean, like glacier slow. You're not, you're not being difficult or damaged by doing this. It's a very wise decision. You've got to watch what people do over time and not just what they say. Do their actions match their words consistently? not just in the beginning when they're trying to impress you. Someone new comes in your life and they're saying all the right things. They're attentive, they're kind, they're genuinely interested in your life. They're like, wow. Old you might have opened up completely within a few weeks, but this new version of you, you're going to take months. You're going to watch. Are they consistent? Do they show up when they say they will? Do they respect your pace? Do they get frustrated when you don't share everything immediately? And they will seem so perfect that you'll start to think maybe I'm being too cautious. Maybe I'm letting my trauma ruin something good. Maybe I should just trust them. Or your friends will say, hey, they seem great. Why are you holding back? Please don't rush. Please don't let anyone pressure you. If they're truly safe, they'll understand and respect your pace. They will meet you where you are. And then this is a big step because I want you to practice setting small boundaries and watch how people respond. And this is the test that literally reveals everything. Tell them you're not available this weekend and see if they respect it or if they push back. Do they guilt trip you or make it about them? Say, I'm not comfortable talking about that yet. And see if they say, okay, no problem, or if they convince you that you should be comfortable. Healthy people respect boundaries. Unhealthy people see boundaries as obstacles to overcome. And narcissists, especially, will push against every single boundary you set because they need you to be completely open and accessible so they can manipulate you. And the thing is, okay, this will happen. You'll set a boundary. Someone will push back gently, and you're immediately going to think, maybe I'm being too rigid. Maybe my boundaries are unreasonable. Maybe I'm the problem. Okay. No, reasonable boundaries don't need to be defended or negotiated. If someone is making you feel bad for having basic needs and limits, that is information. Write it down and track it. And the devil's lie here is that you're being too sensitive, right? Too demanding, too broken. Get that in your head. That is all him. You're just too fucked up to have normal relationships. God's truth is that boundaries are healthy, biblical, necessary for any good relationship. Jesus had boundaries. He withdrew to pray alone. He didn't let the crowds dictate his every move. He said, no, so can you. No, literally, one word answer. And then I need you to understand that not everyone who hurts you is a narcissist, okay? Some people are just immature. Some people are just dealing with their own trauma. Some are simply not compatible with you. Part of healing is learning to differentiate between someone who causes you pain because they're human and imperfect and someone who causes you pain because they're actively exploiting you. A regular person who hurts you will absolutely take accountability. They will apologize genuinely. They'll change their behavior. They'll respect your feelings, even if they don't fully understand them. A narcissist is going to turn it around on you and make themselves the victim and do the same thing again, but they will make you feel crazy for being upset about it. Okay. And after trauma, everyone looks dangerous. Okay. Everyone looks dangerous. Every small hurt feels like a massive betrayal. Every imperfect interaction feels like evidence that this person is going to destroy you. You just have to learn to calibrate again, to see the difference between someone who made a mistake and someone who is systematically harming you. And then I really want you to give yourself permission to make mistakes. You might let the wrong person in again. You might close yourself off to someone safe because your trauma responses are screaming danger, even if there isn't any. And that is all part of the healing process. You're relearning how to navigate relationships with a nervous system that's been rewired by trauma. And the truth that's going to set you free from the shame, is that you will get it wrong sometimes. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you're broken beyond repair. It just means that you're human, that you're healing and you're learning. Every mistake teaches you something. Each time you trust the wrong person and you catch it early, you're proving to yourself that you can protect yourself. Each time you close yourself off to someone safe and then you realize it later, like you're learning to recognize the difference. Enemy wants you to believe that one mistake means you have failed completely and that you're never going to heal, that you should just give up and stay isolated forever. That is a lie. One thing I know to be true, and I know this like I know God's grace is new every single day. His mercies never end, and you get to start again as many times as it takes. And the next step for you is to build trust in layers, not all at once. Listen, bitch, you don't have to share your deepest trauma with someone on the second coffee date. You don't have to let someone meet your kids just because you've been texting for a few weeks. You can give people access to different layers of your life as they prove themselves trustworthy at each level. And, think of it like a house. There's the front porch where anyone can stand. There's the living room where invited guests can sit. There is the kitchen where close friends gather. And there's the bedroom where only the most intimate people go. Not everyone gets access to every room, and they definitely don't get it all at once. They earn their way in room by room over time. Be brave. Schedule a lot of porch dates, okay? And the first few times you hang out, keep it light, surface level. See how they handle the small talk, the basic respect, the showing up on time. If they can prove trustworthy there, you move to the deeper conversation. You share a small struggle and see how they respond. Like, do they listen? Do they validate? Do they try to fix you? Do they gossip about it later? And then you just keep testing, you keep watching, and you keep moving slowly. And the truth is, you're going to feel pressure to move faster than you're comfortable with. They'll share something deep and you'll feel like you need to reciprocate immediately. They'll say, I feel like I could tell you anything. And you're going to feel obligated to match that vulnerability. Don't. Your healing, your safety, your peace is more important than someone else's comfort with the pace of the relationship. And then the next step I want is for you to find people who really understand, not just friends who mean well but don't really get it, and not the people who are like misery loves company. We're all going to stay fucking angry. We hate men. Okay. Not that. Find people who have lived through the abuse, who understand why you can't just get over it or forgive and move on. And I mean, there's plenty of support groups, you guys. There's so much available at our fingertips, literally. Online communities, therapists, life coaches, people who specialize in this. You need witnesses to your pain who can validate that, yes, this really was as bad as you think it was. And no, you're not crazy for struggling to trust again. And it's not negotiable. You cannot heal in isolation. Okay. I mean, that's the devil wants you isolated because that's where he works on you without any interruptions. And that's where his lies sound the most convincing. But in a community, in light with people who understand, his lies lose their power. Okay. And you have to remember who you're fighting for. You have a calling on your life. And it's not just who you're fighting for. You need to remember who is fighting with you. I don't know anybody who would sacrifice their kid for all of us except for God. And he did that. He did that. And he tells you, he literally says it. I will fight for you. He has your back. He'll carry the heavy shit. Like, bring him in the arena with you, please. That has to be a choice, And if you're a mom, I mean, you've got kids who are watching you. They're learning from you how to navigate hard things. You have a purpose that's bigger than your pain. Jesus didn't pay the price he paid for you to stay stuck in someone else's prison. I want to make that clear. He died for your freedom, for your healing, and for your wholeness. Every morning when you wake up and those lies start circling, and they will. You'll never heal. You'll always be broken. You can't trust yourself. No one is ever really going to love you. You have to fight back with the truth. And here's the truth. The price has been paid. The calling is still there. The purpose hasn't changed. You are not who he said you were. You are not what he did to you. His lies are not valid anymore. You are who God says you are. And I'll tell you right now, that means you are chosen. You are beloved, you are equipped, you are called, and you are capable of healing. And the blocks are going to show up. The roadblocks are going to show up in different forms every single day. Like some days, the devil's going to tell you that you're healing too slow, that you should be further along by now. Other days, he's going to tell you that you're healing too fast, that you're being reckless, you're going to get hurt again. Some days, he's going to whisper that you don't deserve healing, that you somehow earned the abuse, and that you should just accept that this is your life now. Some days, he's going to show you happy couples, and he's going to remind you, like, this will never be you. Some days he'll bring someone safe into your path and fill you with so much terror that you sabotage it before it even starts. Every single one of those is a lie. And you combat lies with the truth, with scripture, with community, with talk therapy, with a life coach, with the evidence that you're building day by day, that you can trust yourself, that you can discern, that you can protect yourself while staying open to good things. And I want to be really clear about something. Healing doesn't mean you have to trust easily again. Some people who've been through what you've been through become more discerning. They become more boundary. They become more careful about who gets access to their inner world. That's not damage, that's wisdom. And you've learned something important about human nature and about protecting yourself. The woman you're becoming is wiser, stronger, more aligned with who God created you to be than the woman you were before this happened. Okay? If you want to know when you can trust someone, it's when they've shown you over a period of time through their actions that they are trustworthy. When they respect your boundaries without making you feel bad for having them. When they take accountability when they mess up instead of turning it around on you. When they're consistent in their behavior, not just when they want something from you, but all the time. When they celebrate your growth instead of feeling threatened by it, when they encourage your relationships with God instead of positioning themselves as your only source of validation and worth. Trust isn't something you decide to do one day and then it's done. It's something you build brick by brick. And every person in your life needs to earn it and needs to maintain it. And trustworthy people understand that. They're never going to rush you. And they're not going to pressure you to open up before you're ready. They don't punish you for having been hurt before. If someone is making you feel bad for being cautious, for having walls up, for needing time, that is information. That is a red flag. Please pay attention to that. And what I want you to hear today, okay, is that you can heal from this. You can learn to trust your own discernment again. You can build healthy relationships with safe people. You can have the love and connection you deserve. It won't look like it did before the trauma, and that's actually okay because the person you're becoming through this healing process, she is who you were always meant to be. Jesus didn't die for you to survive. He died for you to thrive, to live a life of abundance, to experience real love and genuine connection. The calling on your life hasn't changed. It's been refined. It's been deepened and made more powerful by what you have survived. And you start trusting people by starting to trust yourself again. And you build that slowly through keeping the promises to yourself and listening to your intuition. And then you extend small amounts of trust to others and watch carefully how they handle it. You surround yourself with the people who understand you. You practice setting the boundaries. Watch how these people respond and give yourself permission to go slow. You remember that being discerning isn't the same as being closed off, and you keep showing up for your own healing, even when it's hard, even when it feels impossible, even when you're fucking exhausted. You're not broken. Your suffering doesn't make you special. What you do after that does. You are recovering from someone who literally tried to break you. And that recovery, it's the most courageous thing that you're going to do right now. So, listen, bitch, if this episode resonates with you, I want you to do something for me. Head over to YouTube, watch the full video version of this episode, okay? There is something powerful about seeing the emotion behind the words. And listen, if you're ready to go deeper in your healing journey, go to brainandlynette.com. You can find my books there. You can learn about working with me one-on-one, and please sign up for my love letters, okay? Little doses of encouragement and truth that I send straight to your mailbox, okay? You don't have to do this healing thing alone. You just don't. So, I love you guys. I'll see you next time.